Dead Island is a zombie action game with RPG elements developed by Techland and published by Deep Silver in 2011 with a remastered definitive edition released in 2016. We're taking a look at the definitive edition since the original can no longer be purchased. I remember Dead Island pretty fondly as it's one of those games that I played the most in my high school days next to Skyrim. But is it still good from today's point of view? Obviously not, but is it still fun? Well, the graphics look alright at a glance, but very quickly you can see that it has aged, even with the remastered treatment. The facial animations are not very expressive and stiff. The game looks way too bloomy, especially in the resort area. It's like I'm actually in the resort island, but it's hard to see sometimes. Look at this. Looks like I'm about to run into Grandma on her way to get the groceries. It would have been nice to be able to turn off the bloom, but for some reason the devs didn't add the option to. Bloom is like the most common graphical effect that can be toggled on and off, so this is quite the oddity. Speaking of graphics options, where's the FOV slider? I had to use Notepad to open the game files to edit it. It's not like it breaks the game if you increase it, so I don't know why it's not there. This is a remaster, so there's no excuse not to have it. The cutscenes look weird. There's this really bad motion blur going on even though I disabled it in the options. I guess there's a separate setting for cutscenes, but yeah, it looks like Vaseline. And it looks like I could reach out to my monitor to get some for my cup. Aside from the issues mentioned, the game generally looks fine. The textures look sharper than the original, the environments are detailed, and the zombies look cool with different designs for specific types, and it's easy to tell which is which. The performance is also fine, though not everyone had the same luck I had on Steam. Overall, not a terrible looking game most of the time, but it lacks some important features and it doesn't look good enough for a remaster. The game starts with a character select, where you can choose from 4 characters, each with their own weapon specializations. I picked Xian, the stabby police lady from Hong Kong, since I remember having the most fun with sharp weapons. I wonder what that says about me. The gameplay loop has you getting weapons from NPCs, go out into the map to explore, and of course, kill zombies. Combat is mostly melee based. There are a lot of weapon types to choose from little dinky ass knives to big dick sledgehammers, though you should stick to the weapon type your character specializes in, since they have skills that can enhance that particular weapon type. You can find weapons scattered around the map with various rarities or at stores. Rarity doesn't matter too much. As long as the numbers are higher than your previous weapon, then you're good. You can upgrade them with materials found around the map, and you can even mod them with elemental effects if you have the right blueprints, which you can also find around the map and by doing quests. Killing zombies is fun. Just whack them and slash them and kick them until they die. Don't get too kinky though, because you have a stamina meter and you'll get tired when you run out. Zombies have different varieties that require different tactics for fighting them. There are the normal zombies that can walk or run at you, explodey dudes that you have to throw weapons at or shoot, tall dudes that can swing and knock you down so you have to take it slow, big dudes in straitjackets that charge at you, and these fat water boys that project out vomit on your face. They're not too bad to fight and are interesting to take on when they're thrown at you in different combinations. There are times where encounters get overwhelming and feel like you need a helping hand or two, but it's generally pretty balanced. Skills are mostly just incremental increases of your weapon stats, like plus 5% bleeding, and very few are new abilities like stomping a dude's head in, so they're not the most interesting. Weapon degradation is a thing, so you need to collect your own set of weapons, then upgrade and mod them to be their most effective form. They can be repaired at a workbench, but there are stretches of the game where you can run out of weapons and start kicking everything, so it can be an issue. But man, when shit comes together, you get your weapons all modded up, slicing and crushing zombies, it's the most fun you'll have in a zombie game. The shittiest part of combat is the gunplay. Auto aim is always active, there's no way to turn it off and it sticks to enemies hard. Every time I want to aim for headshots, it keeps moving down to the torso. I had to keep aiming up to get to the head, it's so annoying. Aside from that, it's a fun time. Get some friends together, or not, and kill some zombies. It's story time. Skip to this timestamp if you want to play for yourself. The story kinda sucks, so feel free to continue. You shouldn't play a game called Dead Island for the story anyway. So you play as one of 4 characters, and at the character select screen, you can see their profiles. These are kinda interesting, letting players know where they came from and what they've been doing until now. That's about all we get for these characters though. They don't get any character development or anything like that. It's just them going from place to place, and sometimes we get a cutscene of the characters interacting, reacting to the situation they're in. So the characters aren't the focus. What about the main story? You start off in a hotel after a night of partying, I guess, only to find zombies taking over the place. A voice on the radio tries to help you, but you get knocked out by a zombie and wake up with a group of survivors. After helping their leader person Cinemoy, he calls the guy on the radio earlier. Turns out that you're immune to the virus, and the radio guy wants to get you to him to help his dying wife. In exchange, he can get everyone off the island of Banoi, the game's setting. So you help the survivors and go from place to place to try to get to the radio guy. Along the way, you meet an old man and his daughter Jin. The old man got bitten by a zombie and wants you to take her with you. This is sad cutscene with sad music, like you're supposed to care even though you just met them. This made my balls retreat back to my body and I don't like it. The old man armors up your van and you take Jin along to kill more zombies and help more survivors. Eventually you get to the town hall, but the people are assholes and has enough supplies and manpower, so there's no need to help them. Also, they refuse to help you, so yeah. Jin wants to help everyone, so she does, or at least try. Later on, you go to the police station to find Jin abused and robbed of all the resources, and she's now emo for the rest of the game, even though she was told not to help. You go back to the resort area to contact the radio guy, and he reveals his identity. The radio guy is a colonel of the Banoi Island Defense Force called Ryder White. He's actually calling from a prison on the island, and to get there, you need to get some guy to help you navigate through the mines surrounding it. He needs you to make an antidote in one of the labs on the island since you're immune to the virus. At the lab, the scientist guy needs some blood samples from a cannibalist tribe who are apparently the origin of this zombie outbreak. You save a tribal woman from being killed by her chief. Her name is Yurima. She was forced to participate in this ritual where she had to eat rotten flesh or some shit to become immortal. You know, the usual. You take Yurima to the scientist to get blood samples, and the guy you're supposed to meet, Moen, tells you to get some shit before going to the prison, back at the resort area. For a few items you need, you have to go to Jin's dad's workshop. Jin's dad is, of course, a zombie now, so she has to kill him. She also shoots a photo of herself for some reason. Is that supposed to symbolize that her old self is dead or something? Anyway, you go back to the lab to find it infested with zombies. You talk to Yurima and it looks like the scientists almost killed her trying to get too many blood samples. Wow, it's like she wasn't treated like a human being. What does that have to say about society? Next, you take the vaccine that the scientists made and you go to the prison, dodging and shooting water mines along the way. At the prison, you do some favors for the inmates, and in exchange they will help you get to White, since the prison, like anywhere else on the island, is full of zombies. Later, you finally get to an elevator that can take you to White, but you get gassed by him. While unconscious, White stole the vaccine from you. Kevin, a prisoner who helped you with a mission earlier, who's really good at tech by the way, wakes you up and tells you that if White leaves, the chances of getting off the island are gone, and that the military is going to nuke everything. So you go up to the roof to confront White. His wife is fully zombified, so there's no chance in saving her, but he couldn't accept that. Jin then goes woke and unstraps White's wife, and he gets bitten. White pops Jin and she dies in slow motion. It is what it is. With no choice, White uses the vaccine to prevent himself from turning, but it didn't work. The vaccine was not perfect, and he turns into a warded up zombie man. You kill him in a very annoying boss fight, and into his chopper you go. A news broadcast plays on the radio detailing the outbreak on Banoi. Apparently, a super hacker man by the name of Charon is held at the Banoi prison, and the government is lying about the virus being contained and it won't spread and all that. Kevin did a little smile after saying basically the world has changed, looking all evil and shit. Wait, Kevin is good at tech and hacking. Is Kevin the super hacker man? Did he unleash this virus on Banoi? Oh well. The story is not good. The devs attempt to have a point and message with Jin, and maybe say that people are greedy when the circumstances are fucked and the loss of innocence or whatever. They try so hard to make you feel for Jin, but there's way too little character development, and she didn't end up being likable. Same with the main characters. Beyond those few lines you get at the character select screen, there's not much else to them. They say they get better at working as a team as the story progresses, but that feels weird when you play solo like I did. Dead Island is one of those games where the stories you get from playing with friends and fucking around doing funny shit is way better than the actual story. Just skip the cutscenes and story and go around killing zombies. But man, I can't help but feel disappointed, because that trailer, that trailer got me hooked and expecting a very emotional one, so just a shame they didn't go that route, man. Dead Island Definitive Edition could be better. The graphics look like ass, but is occasionally pretty. The PC version runs alright, but lacks some options and features that would have been great for quality of life. Cutting up zombies is fun, but the story is not so much. In a post-Dying Light world, there's not much of a reason to return to Dead Island other than for nostalgia. It's still fun though if you can grab some friends to join, and it's pretty cheap these days. Just skip the story and you're good. That's all for me. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe and all that titty. And I'll see you again next time, hopefully not after 3 months. Later.
I got a zombie army, and you can't harm me. Yeah, who do, bitch?